production flow, where revenue is generated, and a cooperation with both government and private sector to provide the tools to rightly claim more of that value that's created. So what we have done here, it's a combination of both physical and digital assets. It is a refinery. I've never been in a refinery before. When I've seen the prototype, it looks more like a clean room in a chip factory than I envisioned. I thought it might be like a steel foundry and molten metal being poured, but no, it's much more like a chip assembly factory. What we're doing in this case, and the point I want to bring up here is how important it is to have the right partners. In this case, we're using an Indian firm that is assembling the equipment, and they're shipping, and they will provide a team to manage and operate the refinery. So we're not trying to learn how to build a refinery from scratch, but getting that resource, and then our role will be is connecting that refinery to the rest of the supply chain. We have resources, business development staff out in Congo, out in CAI, Tanzania, sourcing gold through the artisanal miners. And there's a lot of demand. We're seeing demand already signing up to put ore into this refinery because there's really a need for it. There really isn't one in the area. So you have that physical refinery providing the GIF platform, put it on the blockchain, and that way we can track where it came from, where it's at, and that gives us, it takes friction out of the process that may be operating in Congo. The bottom line is you get margin uplift in a way to bring that revenue into the country and into the company. So this is more of I say looking at a country standpoint. This next slide are about players, and maybe bringing more players into the value chain, not just miners, but there could be trading capabilities here, and even financial players that could be part of this, because we're doing the refining and because we're using our blockchain ledger to manage the process. What that technology does, and I think blockchain AR can apply to CTA as well, is that we're being transparent, which provides confidence to other players that would want to work with us, and there's an aspect of this where we're bringing in the ability to tokenize the gold and make it liquid, using gold as the kind of collateral for a payment card, and this creates more revenue earning opportunities as well. You make money by trading gold, refining it, but if the card is used for purchasing, then you gain access to revenue streams from payment networks as well. I do want to mention right here that although my talk has been about gold, and then I mentioned UAE and Central African Republic, one of our investors, in fact, one of our major investors to join is a Nigerian founder of one of the most innovative banks in Nigeria. So there's a Nigeria connection here, and there may be more as we continue to grow the business. And bring it together here on the last slide here. Looking at the business model, there is capture. It's not just let somebody else come in and take PR out. We've got it, and we're going to put it through a chain where we have visibility and control. We never have total control, but here we can track what's going on in. We know what revenue's been generated. And then we don't lose sight of it once the goal's been refined, because for tracking after the cotton has been grown and turned into fabric, maybe there's another way to track it. There's other. And when we connect to Visa or MasterCard, we're connecting to global system, and then that leads to the ability to collect a transaction fee to go to London. So that's really what I wanted to cover with you today. I know it's not TA, but I think these technologies and these methodologies have applications. It's happening today. A parting point I'd make before I take some questions or comments is, I think about, fintech is very much an enabler, and it's one of the industries where Africa is making a global mark, and not just being a market for foreign companies, but exporting. Some of the most innovative payment applications have come out of Africa. You look to Kenya with M-Pesa. I think that's the most successful mobile money wallet in the world. And you have a very innovative Nigerian company, Flutterwave, which is doing business in the U.S. It's one of the unicorns, I think, worth $4 billion today. So I think there's a link. I don't want to force a link, but I think fintech could be a partner in helping CTA realize some of its potential in extending its supply chain capabilities and grabbing more of the value chain. So I'll stop there and see what questions or thoughts, comments we may have.
Yes, thank you so much, Rich. So okay, first of all, before I get into it, I think the pronunciation is Rich Bialek, right?
Rich Bialek, yes.
Bialek.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, perfect. I just wanted to get clear on that. So thank you so much, Rich. I mean, that was a wonderful presentation, and I like the fact that you were able to along the line bring back the gold value chain into the cotton, textile, and apparel value chain. And then of course we'll be having the Q&A at the end of the second presentation. We're going to be spending minimum half an hour on Q&A, so we've got quite some time on our hands to do that. And then while we look forward to that, I want to catch you up on something, the role of fintech. Okay, and I hear you say you don't want to force the link, and I would want you to start thinking about how to force the link, because I'm going to ask you. Yes, because I'm going to ask you a question on that, because I'll bring up the concept, the context. It is in silver, it is in whatever commodity you may want to. You want example, we have seen the Git model as a blockchain infrastructure that is, not just a training platform, but it combines collection of formalization systems, combines local refining capacity, traceability mechanisms, financial infrastructure, market access, and digital transaction systems. So these are some of the digital infrastructure that we're talking about that help to ensure that whatever physical infrastructure that we may have put in, we have a digital infrastructure that backs, the operability of those physical infrastructure. So in essence, this creates an ecosystem where multiple layers of value can be coordinated structure, and this is highly relevant to the cotton test and apparel industrialization initiatives as well. Thirdly, the presentation also highlights infrastructure, like I said, as the foundations for competitiveness. And what this suggests that industrial competitiveness will be based on not just production capacity, traceability, for Africa CTA sector. It suggests that rebuilding value chains, with expansion zone, require control over value flows, and of course, mechanisms that allow African economies to capture more value domestically and regionally. For me, perhaps most importantly, this presentation, that's where I am keen, to people would depend upon ability to be connect around strategy. So in this, the lessons from the gold value chain provide a compelling framework for us to rethink how Africa can approach, in the CTA sector. So thank you very much, Alec, once again for that excellent presentation. I will now hand over again to my colleague Favor to introduce our next speaker. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Mr. Henry. He's a development, policy, and finance specialist with over a decade of experience in governance and public sector development in Africa. He serves as head of program at African Institute of Cooperative Citizenship, where design and implementation, agricultural value chains, public finance management, and inclusive market systems. Henry also works closely with the Eastern and Southern African Cotton Organization to strengthen cotton value chain across policy advocacy, sustainability initiatives, and market development. His work focuses financial and gender value chain development with a strong emphasis on climate resilience and co-policies from the University of Cape and brings extensive experience working with government, development partners, and private sector actors across the continent. Today, he will be speaking on pathways to industrial.
Okay, can you confirm that you can see my screen now?